Okay, so 16, vinegar, water solution. So this is mixing solutions together. Okay, so vinegar and water solution. So that's a mixture between pure vinegar and water. So 1,200 liters of a 28% solution is required. So you need to get that. 1,200 liters of a 28% solution. And you're getting that from 16% solution and a 36% solution. Okay, so how much of each of these do you need to mix together to get 28%? So 28 is between 16 and 36. So this should work. Okay, so let statements. Let X be the volume of 16% solution in liters, and Y be the volume of 36% solution in liters. Okay, X plus Y needs to equal 1,200 liters, total volume. That's our first equation. Second equation is going to be about the total volume of pure vinegar. So 1,200 liters is not pure vinegar. 28% of that is pure vinegar. Okay, so I'm going to write this. So 28% of 1,200 is the pure vinegar. 16% of the X amount is the pure vinegar in that one, and 36% of the Y amount is the pure vinegar there. So you add these two amounts of pure vinegar together, you should get the total amount of pure vinegar. Okay? So this is basically what we have here. Okay, that's 28% of 1,200 is vinegar, 36% of the Y liters is vinegar, and 16% of the X liters is pure vinegar. Okay, multiply that out and you get the nice second equation here. Now, again, you're going to take the first equation, rearrange it, sub it into the second. Okay. So when you sub that all in, do the proper algebra, you get X equal to 480. Okay, so 480 liters of the 16% solution. Sub that into 1 star, and you get 720 liters of the 36% solution. Okay, so that's it for that question. Okay, so we have this one here where it's a money problem. So Kelsey invested $800, some at 9%, and the rest at 12% per year. After 1 year, the total interest earned was $79.50. How much did she invest at each rate? Okay, so the two unknowns here are going to be the amount invested at 9% and the amount invested at 12%. The total invested is $800. So X plus Y equals 800. The next equation is going to be about the total interest. So if 9% of X is interest on X, then I'm going to write that in. So 0.09X is 9% of X. 12% of Y. These two amount of interest should add up to $79.50. That's the total interest. Now that you have these two equations, again, from 1, we can rearrange, and I'm just going to flash through this, and it works out the same as the other problems. So you can pause and take a look at this if you need. Okay. Next question we're going to move on to is this one here. Okay. A flask contains 300 milliliters of 30% acid solution. How much water must be added to reduce the acid strength to 20%? Okay, so you know how much 30% is there, and you want to know how much water has to be added to get a 20% solution, so to dilute it. Okay, so here's what we're going to do for this one. Okay, we're going to let X be the volume of water added, and Y is going to be the total volume. Okay, because we don't know what the total volume will be at the end. That's something you must, it's not in there. It says to find it, but you need to understand that's there. Okay, so 300 of the original one plus X of the unknown, or the water, will give you the total volume. Y? We don't know the total volume yet. Okay, so that's the total volume of the solution. The volume of 100% acid, of pure acid, is going to be 30% of the 300 milliliters plus 0% of the water. There's no water in it. Equals 20% of the final solution, the Y. So then 90, okay, so from this one, that times 300 is 90 equals 0.2y. Solve that directly, y equals 450. Okay, you can sub that into first equation, and you get x equal to 150. Okay, so you need to add 150 milliliters of water to get a 20% solution, and you'd have 450 milliliters of that. Okay. Okay, so now we have a distance time problem here. Red took 5 hours to travel at 470 kilometers from Sudbury to Brantford. The first part he drove at 100 kilometers per hour, then the remainder at 90 kilometers per hour. How far did he travel at each speed? So the unknowns are the speed, or the distances. Okay, here is the formula for speed and time and distance. Speed equals distance over time, which is this formula. You could multiply both sides by t, and you get distance equals speed times time. Or rearrange again, and time equals distance over speed. We will use all these equations. For this problem, we're going to let x and y be the distances traveled at each speed in kilometers. We know that x plus y in this question needs to add up to 470 kilometers. Okay? Now the next equation is going to be about time. So that's a distance equation. The next one is time. So time equals distance over speed. So x is a distance over the speed of 100 kilometers an hour plus y distance, the speed of 90 kilometers an hour, equals 5, because that's the total time. Now you have these two equations, okay, and I'm going to flash here the solution to it, and you can work through that. Okay, there we go for that one. The next question, the last one I'm going to do is this one here, and it is a plane. So a plane takes 4 hours to fly 2,200 kilometers from Saskatoon to Toronto with a tailwind, so from pushing from behind. The return trip with a headwind took 5 hours. Find the speed of the plane and the wind. Okay, so let x and y equal the x equal the airspeed of the plane. So airspeed means, like, if there's no wind, what would the speed be? And y is the wind speed. Okay, x plus y is adding the speeds. So imagine you've got you're flying your airplane in no wind at 100 kilometers an hour, and then the wind comes behind you at 20 kilometers an hour. Well, then you'd probably be going 120 kilometers an hour. Okay, so you can add the speeds here, the two speeds, and then this is the speed of the airplane with the tailwind if you're observing from the ground. Okay, so 2,200 is the distance divided by 4 hours. Now, here's when the wind is against you. You're going to subtract the two. So the speed that you're flying minus the wind speed is going to be 2,200 kilometers divided by 5 hours, distance over time. Those are the two equations. And here I'm going to flash through the solution, and you can pause and look through that.